Hey guys, Axel here, and in the last episode we went to Verdant Turf, and now we're gonna go fight the gym. Now, English IGCSE practice. First topic, positive thinking. Positive thinking. Times when you and people you know think positively. How thinking positively helps you. Whether all situations can be thought of in a positive way. The idea that young children naturally think positively. The view that all leaders should be positive thinkers. So I know I can't do the last one, the last problem. It's difficult. Okay, how do I start? Times when you and people you know think positive. 3, 2, 1. I pride myself as an optimist because in most situations I try to think of the best possible outcome, the best thing that can happen. However, not many people in my surrounding area. That's not good. Okay, restart. Okay, 3, 2, 1. I pride myself as an optimist because I try to make the best out of any situation. I try to think of the positive side. I'd rather focus on the good thing that will occur in a particular situation. But most of my friends and most people that I know in school or in like my extended family, they usually think negatively. For example, during exams, they will always think that, oh wow, that exam was so hard, I wasn't able to do this question, or oh no, my score in this particular subject is very bad. But they don't think about the good things. They don't think about the great accomplishments in that test. For example, one of my friends, he got 40 something out of 80 on his science test. However, in a different science test, in a different test, he got perfect. But he never talks about the perfect one. He always talks about, oh wow, my scores are so bad, I can never pass. He doesn't concentrate on the good things. But me, I try to make the best out of everything. Even though I fail, I always think, oh, I will work harder next time so this doesn't happen again. And it really does help me. A long time ago, when I was a child, I was really focused on studying. I studied every day. I went home from tuition at like 6 p.m. and it really stressed me out, especially if I didn't get good grades. However, with a new mindset in grade 8, I tend to see the bright side of every single situation possible. Let's see. For example, whenever I didn't get a 90 above in any of my subjects, I would get really depressed. And my mom had to comfort me with food. But now I try to think on what I can improve in the test which I didn't get 90 on. I look at the test paper and I see, okay, I need improvement on this subject, this topic. I'm not good at this topic. I just analyze the test paper to see which ones I did poorly and I work harder on it. While most people say, oh, I'm not good at this topic, I guess I'll just fail. I'm not smart anyways, I don't need to study. No, that's not how you should think. That's just thinking negatively. You need to think on them. You need to see the bright side of every single situation. And yes, every single situation can be thought of positively. A memorable quote from Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events is that when a person loses a leg, most people would think, oh no, my leg, I can never walk on 2 feet ever again, I can never ride a bicycle again. But a really optimistic person would think, yay, half-priced pedicures or manicures for life. And although that is a very extreme situation, I believe that all situations can be thought of positively. Young children. Yes, I do believe that young children always think positively because they're young. They will automatically have a positive mindset. They don't have enough information. They don't know what's going on around the world. They don't know the terrible things occurring on this globe. And because of their lack of information, they can be carefree. They can just simply live their lives without thinking of the terrible thing that happened in that country or terrible things that will happen tomorrow. They can just live freely in the moment. Leaders. I do believe that leaders should be positive most of the time. And by that I mean when, let's say the president, when the country is in crisis, the president should always think positive, because when a country's great leader is thinking a terrible situation can be turned around, everyone will follow, especially if the leader is a very charismatic person. But in some situations, it might be insensitive to look at a positive way. For example, when a natural disaster occurs and takes the lives of many people, you shouldn't think about it. You shouldn't think about that situation positively, because it's very insensitive to the families who recently lost their loved ones. So, while I do agree that leaders should be positive, in some situations they should just, act naturally. They don't need to put on that positive attitude. Okay, and that is positive thinking. I spoke about 5 minutes. I think that's good enough. Okay, 5 minutes. Puzzle. I guess I'll solve this sometimes. Okay, everyone. Next topic. News reports. We know what is happening locally or in the wider world because of news reports. Discuss this topic with the examiner. The best ways of finding out the news. A news report you heard recently that you were interested in. The suggestion that most people are only interested in dramatic news reports. The view that it is not a good idea to be personally included in a news report. The opinion that not all news should be reported. The view that not all news should be reported. The best way about to find out news. Okay. 3, 2, 1, start. Although I am no expert in this field, I'm sure that many people will agree that the best way to gather information is through the internet in this day and age. While a long time ago, the only reliable news source was the newspaper or word of mouth, the case is very different in today's world. as with the internet, you can post you can talk to people around the globe about what is happening in your neighborhood or in your country. Although most of the information might not be reliable, it is certainly one of the best ways to gather information, as it is easily accessible and most likely free. A news report that I heard about recently was the riot, not really riot, the banning of assault rifles in the United States. When I heard about the school shooting that happened, I didn't have any personal feelings about what happened. I mean, I did not really care. Personally, I screwed that up. Okay, restart. Oh, there we go. The best way is okay. Although I am no expert in this field, I believe, and I'm sure many others would agree with me, that the internet is one of the best ways to gather information, as you can post, or other people can post, about what is happening in the current world, in their neighborhood or in their city or country. And not only is the information easily accessible, it is also most likely free, so a lot of people are able to find that information. While not all information on the internet is reliable, it is definitely one of the best ways to gather any form of information. A news report that I was interested in was the banning of assault rifles in the United States. Because of what happened, the school shootings, teenagers or high school students, they wanted to ban assault rifles to prevent that kind of situation to occur again. And I agree with that. A similar case happened in Australia, I believe, 20 years ago. There was a massacre, and the government decided to ban assault rifles, and the people there were okay with that. And ever since, I believe that no massacres ever occurred again in 20 years. And so, the idea that their voices would be rejected is preposterous to me. But I really don't have any opinion over it. It was just a news report that I was interested in. Dramatic news reports. Yes, I believe that might be true. Because when you get on the internet, there are a lot of reports that pop up, and if you just look at all of them, and if most of them have boring titles, you might not even click on them, like the study of chocolate in the blah 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 blah. You might not click on that, but if the title was, for example, chocolate cures cancer, proven, you would most likely click on that. So I do believe that dramatic news reports are the only thing that people are interested in. In fact, I believe that a long time ago, back when it was the newspaper era, newspaper salesmen or newspaper writers, authors, they had to put really dramatic titles just to lure more buyers. You know, they need to lure more customers so they can keep on making their newspapers. So they have to come up with quote-unquote clickbait titles to get people to purchase their newspapers. And I believe that you should not be personally involved in a news report, especially if you are the one who is writing that news report. Because then most people would think that you are biased towards the situation, or if people do not like the article that you produced, you may get called out on, and people may give just hate. People will just hate on you. I guess that would be the better term. However, if it's like a personal tragedy, and you want your voice to be heard, then obviously you should personally be involved in that news story because you want your voice to be heard and you want everyone to listen to you and to make sure that the same tragedy will not occur again. This is one of the examples. And not all news should be reported. Just imagine if I were to tell your secret to everyone I know. You would definitely get upset. And just like the example which I have given, not all news should be reported. I believe that only important news, okay, quote unquote important news, should be reported, should be published. Because, let's say, news about this celebrity's child doing drugs, you shouldn't report that because that just brings shame to the family. And haters, okay, quote unquote haters, will just send mean messages to them. So, I don't believe that all news should be reported. Okay, how long was I talking? Okay, that's 9 minutes. That's pretty long. Okay, Saranel, 2 topics. Out of 30, maybe you can give me 17? I hope so. Okay, and I also beat the game, so... Okay, that's it.